Anderson. I'm a co-founder of a startup called Couchbase, and we've been in the market for a few years now with a NoSQL database. So who here is a developer who has heard of or worked with NoSQL? All right, so yeah, that's catching on. Those hands didn't just all go up like that. This is sort of a meta demo. So about 3 years ago, I moved down to the Bay to start this company, and now I'm back, and I couldn't be happy to be back in Portland. And I'm working with our mobile team to build this technology. It's a toolkit for mobile application developers, and it's a data synchronization toolkit called Couchbase Lite. So if you are a developer and you have heard of iCloud for iPhone, or you've heard of Dropbox, which is also a file synchronization platform, this is a database synchronization platform. So it allows you to build an application where your data is on all the phones, and as a developer, that's not your problem. We take care of it for you. It's open source. You run the server yourself, so it's iCloud is great for kind of small games and stuff where you don't need to control the back end, but for enterprise type data usage, you really want to be able to have full access to that data and run your own reports on it and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of what it is. I guess one important point: why is synchronization so important on mobile? Well, we know through a bunch of research that users respond to having fast applications. If you're like waiting for something, that's maybe you're not going to use that app again. And that's true on the web, and it's even more so true on mobile because mobile devices are so personal. It's kind of a personal affront to when your app is like sitting there, and it's not the developer's fault when the app is slow. It could be your service provider, and there's nothing the developer can do about it. So the solution is to bring that data onto the device ahead of time and interact with it locally. So this is kind of an architecture diagram just so you can get a sense for what it is we're building and how you would deploy it. It's an embedded database. It's lightweight that runs on the phone and connects to your cloud, and it has a synchronization gateway that does all the access control and user management. It's designed to hook up with existing applications as long as you're comfortable representing your data as JSON. So let's take a look at a demo. I have this app is not nearly as slick as some of these other apps, and it shouldn't be because it's really to demo the functionality. You could use this to build games, or I'll talk about use cases in a little bit, but I can say, hi Chris, and it's going to send that message. And you saw another line. I'm showing kind of the debug console there at the bottom. Now you can see, if you've got good eyes, you can see that it came up over here. And I can say, hey Gramps. Gramps is the nickname for the account running on there. So now it showed up on the server, and now it shows up over there. And there's no camera, in the iPhone simulator. So, we need to take a picture of everyone. There we go. And that'll take a little bit longer to transfer, but there it is. So that's the demo. I don't really want to spend too much time on that, but I do want to talk a little bit about what you would use this for. The people who are using this today, there's apps in the App Store doing medical records, especially for rural clinics in rural countries that don't have reliable connections all the time. So you can do all your clinical work on the device, and then when the wind is blowing the right way and the cell phone networks are working, it synchronizes back to the cloud, and you get new reports in from headquarters. Also, other use cases that are great for this is anything where on-site matters. So if you're doing like building inspection or ecological research. And another place, of course, is games, which is by far the biggest category of mobile applications. And game developers don't want to deal with the cloud. So the last thing that I'll show before we kind of get finished here is some source code, just so you know what you're getting into as a developer. Zoom in a little more so everyone can read that. So we've got this function here is, it's, 30 lines of code, and you can probably cut it down to half that if you really care to. That's the entirety of the backend that's required. So you don't need to write like a whole Ruby on Rails stack or a whole PHP or Java or whatever on the backend. You just write this amount of JavaScript and inspect the document. So the document comes in here, and this is a document that's in a channel, so make it signal to the people who have access to that channel. This is a special kind of document that describes a channel. It's going to list the members of the channel and the owners of the channel, so let's give all them access to it. And there's a little bit of housekeeping at the end here, so you can see the different people to invite to a new channel. So if I go back here to my channels, I can create a new one and add a new user, and now I have a new chat going. It doesn't have to be chat, right? That could be sort of a Scrabble game or chess game or anything. Just to sort of finish up, because this is for developers and everything's open source, we really want you to participate. Go and download the project and play with it and give us feedback. Join in the mailing list. We've got support for iOS and for PhoneGap, HTML5. We've got sort of nascent support for Android, so if you want to help contribute to that effort, we'd be glad to have you. So thank you.
Hey, so it's open source, so does that mean that the whole stack is open source? Like you had a diagram there, like the gateway, like everything. Everyone's open source.
So at this point in time today, every single thing that Couchbase does is available open source. Anyone can download it, build it themselves, and roll with it. Okay,
so then as an app developer, I might be concerned about that if there was a security vulnerability in your stack. So can you talk a little bit about how you would handle that issue?
So security and open source is an interesting topic. I think 10 years ago, you could convince people that open source software was less secure. I think that's not the case anymore. Many eyes mean fewer bugs, right? Like all bugs are shallow if everyone can look at it. So one way to convince yourself it's secure is to just go look at it. Certainly, it's not secure yet. I mean, I know I have a couple things we need to fix, but it doesn't have a version number on it yet either. So this is still an early project. The other stuff that Couchbase is doing is used by a whole bunch of people, and we have a much stronger vetting process for that code.
Chris, two quick questions for you. Number one, Couchbase, why the name?
That's great, perfect opportunity. So it's an acronym, and I have a rap song. So
we can hear it.
Cluster of unstoppable commodity hardware. Be allocating so enterprise, low latency, thanks to Memcached. Watch your disk drag queue. Couchbase, keep it clean. Index your data with JavaScript. Hit a couple lines of code. Pick the key to emit. Port 809111211 for Couchbase. Data is a serious obsession. Simple fact. Size to your workflow. We are the reliable bits.
Second question, did I understand you correctly? You're 3 years in right now. What needs to be done yet?
Well, so our 2.0 product is powering, all these companies that are, some of these and some of them are still on the 1.8 product line. So we have a healthy revenue stream. We're about a 100-person company. I'm the only person in Portland right now. So what I want to do is grow the Portland team. And for me, that means mobile. So we're hiring for mobile right now. It's a small team. It's a Skunkworks project. It's planning to become a product later in the year. And when that happens, I can imagine growing the team more rapidly.
Is this the same team that's behind CouchDB?
That's also a good question, and the answer is sort of. Right, so I'm a committer on the CouchDB project. I consider it really more of an inspiration for what we do. So if you've used it, then you'll be able to use Couchbase. A lot of the APIs are really similar, but from a code standpoint, it's almost a complete rewrite. And we rewrote it. We were able to use that original code base to hit our performance targets, but only on really beefy servers. And so we rewrote it all in C and lower level languages so that we could associate performance targets on more modest servers.
So since you've got another minute on stage, are you going to have any sort of a meetup or any sort of a group to bring people together for your team that you want to announce?
That's a great idea. I moved back to Portland like 3 weeks ago. I was here for 11 years before that, and the startup scene is an order of magnitude bigger than it was when I left, which is awesome to see. I've been going to all the meetups I can, have time to go to. So I've been a busy guy. Look for NoSQL meetup coming around on meetup.com. That'll be me.
All right, thanks. Another round of applause.